Good evening, Final Fantasy Randomizer fans and all of you fans out there on RPG Limit Break. This is the last week of the summer Duckling Boot Camp. Week 8 is upon us. I am joined in the booth by the one, the only DVS. How's it going today, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm really excited about this. This is my first, time to sit in the booth and talk through one of these Duckling weeklies and share some knowledge and, critique Sir Lancelot a little bit because he wiped the floor with me in our Duckling Derby a year ago, right around this time.
And speaking of royalty, we are going to have the guest runner of this week, Sir Lancelot, a previous Duckling Derby winner, or a Duckling Supreme, if you will. Sir Lancelot, if you can hear me, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. How's everybody?
I am both sad and excited that this is the last week of the Duckling Boot Camp. But that does mean that the Duckling Derby is right around the corner, where we have 4 weeks, 4 matches to see who is going to be the next Duckling Supreme. Without further ado, let's get on to some of these flags. Let's see what's going on here today. Goal, nothing there. We take a look at the scale. Is that where we are? Yeah, that's where we are. You can take a look. The boss stats are going to be clamped 100 to 150. As we're going through these, you're going to notice they are a little reminiscent of ST pods with a little fun extras involved. Overworld encounter rate 0.7 and 0.8, and the EXP is a little bit less at 2.1%, so EXP is going to be a little few and far between. Prices are a little bit more squished, 40 to 270. And this is the important part. Let's take a look at some of these incentive locations. You're going to notice this is going to mimic the pods, with the exception that we have Earth Cave involved, and it's behind gating for the key item, which means it's going to be on everyone's favorite floor, Earth 4. And then we have the random placements and Ice Cave ordeals, as well as Marsh Cave, Volcano, Sea Shrine, Sky Palace, the works.
And one thing for those of you who have run the pod flags in the past, note that you do have a Vorpal that's incentivized. I don't remember if that was part of pods or not, but that really threw me off in the practice seed that I ran earlier today. So you have Vorpal, Power Bonk, and White Shirt that are accompanying your standard incentivized items.
Finally giving some love to all those Vorpal fans out there.
Unfortunately, it was -3 in my run, so it made me a little sad. But it's out there. It's incentivized. Keep it in the back of your mind.
And heading over to maps, nothing really new here. We have Northern Docks on.
Yeah, I'd say especially for these Duckling flags, keeping in mind when you do have Northern Docks and when you don't. I would say for kind of the more veteran flag sets, we typically have them on. And for Ducklings, I know they turn them off a lot to kind of decrease the number of options. But Northern Docks are on, so you have access to On-Rack and Mirage pretty early on in the game.
And just so you know, there was an update to the website from the original flags that were going on, so there's a whole bunch of new features and kind of a new look for how everything is going if you're used to the original ones. So if you do have any questions about anything that you're seeing here, go ahead and post them in chat. We'll try to answer them. As the run is going, you can also go to the Final Fantasy Randomizer website and take a look for yourself and ask questions from there.
Yeah, and as Dark Moon's kind of showing, we have a number of additional docks and so forth and flags that our devs keep creating. And for any of you out there who try to click on the flags for this week and keep getting a blank flag set or a random flag set, if you hit Control F5, that's going to completely wipe your catch and you're going to be able to access the flags. You're probably not going to remember that, but Control F5, you're going to see it thrown out constantly throughout the Discord. But that should revert everything back, so you can click on the link again and get an updated flag set. And there isn't, in terms of these flags, I think the only thing that pops up that's really new is in the party category. And in this particular flag set, yeah, the standard shop shuffle, enemies. I think this is from pods. We have the tri-stated use alternate format, or use alternate trap tiles, which again was a pod flag. It's actually one of my favorites because it really impacts how you approach your party comp, because you don't know if you're going to get standard trap tiles or the alternates. The big thing to keep in mind is that you will have 2 forced party members. They are slots 3 and 4. So when you load up your seed, you're going to have slots 3 and 4 locked out for you, and you only get to choose 2 of your party members this time.
Yeah, that's been a little theme that we've been trying to do to simulate a draft, which is, apparent in the spring tournament as well as other tournaments. We get 1 bonus and 1 malice. No spell casting. That was it. I'm not going to explain that. I think we've seen that enough. And yeah, take a look. We have class balance put on this screen now, and half BB crit. So be warned. And what else we got in here? Gearing items. Sorry, you don't get to start with a katana or a masterman. Blurst weapons, -5 to +5. Blurst armor, -3 to +3. Exclude mass immune, not on, so that could be as good as +5. And I don't think there's anything in adjustments. Just the standard stuff that we've been running.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it looks like Sir Linkalot has already chosen and named his team. So did you, can we actually look through the blursings real quick and just have you talk through kind of your thinking behind why you chose this particular party for this flag set?
Yeah, so I'm not picking the fighter. I actually went back specifically before that because I had the party, and I'm like, I should probably go and actually look, show everybody what the blursing was so you can understand why I picked the party I'm going to. So fighter ended up getting 40 HP, Black Mage Vitality. Malice isn't terrible for the fighter because it already just gets the innately high HP anyways. Main reason I'm not taking a fighter for this one, I'm forced into a black belt and also a white mage, so that only leaves me kind of 2 positions to what I would like to do. Thief got -2 magic defense per level and -5 luck, so the thing that the Thief is good at probably is still going to be able to run. But again, I'd only have 1 sweeper, and I hate having just 1 sweeper, so I'm not bringing a Thief. Black Belt ends up with +30 HP and -10 strength, so gets a bit more HP to start with, more survivable, which helps. And, the strength isn't a huge deal because the Black Belt's damage is really just based off level, so who cares about the strength so much. I will be bringing a red mage. That's going to be my second selection. +15 strength helps when it needs to swing, especially after class promotion. Red Wizard does get some decent weapons, especially the Warple. -30 HP kind of hurts right at the beginning because it's going to be hard to keep the red mage alive for a couple levels. White Mage gets Black Belt Vitality and -10 luck, so White Mage isn't going to really be doing much running for me, but is going to be survivable as all heck probably, and is going to have lots of health, so I'll be very safe. And then the Black Mage gets Thief Luck and -10% hit. Don't care so much about the Malice on the Black Mage, and the Thief Luck makes Black Mages run even better, so I have my runner with my Black Mage.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, and just as a reminder to people in the audience, Link is at about a 5 to 10 second delay. So if you hear him comment on something and you're seeing a little bit of a trail, yeah, it's just limitations of streaming. But as soon as I think Link, as soon as you're ready to go, we can launch this thing.
Yeah, I'm good to go. I guess if you want to count me down.
There's gonna be a 10-second delay, so I'm just gonna let Dark Moon hit go whenever you start moving. So go when you're ready, and we'll leave it to Dark Moon to hit go on the little timer thing there.
Okay.
I don't want to spoil people by having the correct timer on screen.
You never know when that last second's gonna matter.
Oh, that was me. I screwed the pooch last week on that. So.
Invis and Invis 2, they're in White Magic. Invis 2 is white locked. I really like that level 1 Black Magic. Just like Quad X is by far one of my favorite Black Mage spells, and just to have Ice 2 as a decent sweeper, I would feel pretty comfortable with this level 1 magic. What do you think of Deadpool?
Ice 2 is one of the most underrated spells because it does hit pretty hard. And yeah, it's not going to be the most useful against undead or those creatures, but you mix that with having Quad X to be able to take out Garland. Your Cake spell is going to be good if you're going to do a little grind out in the Crescent Lake area.
Mm-hmm. I am kind of curious how you guys approach this. We did see a glove +3 in the armor shop, and I think there was another pretty heftily blessed item in the armor shop. Is that something that you would pick up this early in the game, or are you typically a no armor at all for the beginning of the game?
It depends. If I see like a cloth armor +3, and then I also see a glove +3, I might as well get them both, because that's going to just be a little extra safety. It doesn't take that much time. But the chest armors actually get a bigger bonus to their armor value than all other pieces. So it's really dependent on that piece.
Yeah, and we see Link going back and picking up Quad X on... Was that the... Does your black belt have magic?
No, I accidentally did an oopsie.
And, okay, cool. I was like...
Yeah, I accidentally did an oopsie and tried to buy it, and you see me do it on heal too as well. I was like, hey, I'm hitting the button so fast, and it's just like, I need to do this. And, yeah. No, it's on the red mage.
Yeah. So you went back and you bought the wood 2 and the glove 3 on the black belt and the red mage? Or just on the red mage?
Yeah, that was me hitting buttons too fast. I don't care about the wood armor on the black belt, just because the black belt has the extra health and is going to scale past that wood armor fairly quickly anyways, whereas the red mage lost health and is going to need to be able to kind of survive hits, so I want to have it a little bit of armor so it's not just like, hey, I'm going to smack you for 20 health and that's all your health right now anyways. Yeah.
And I think Deadpool alluded to it earlier that the chest armor is really where you're going to get most of that absorb from. It has the higher base absorb, and it has a higher blursing absorb. I believe it's 2 absorb per blurs point, as opposed to 1 absorb for those gloves. But that being said, like a glove with +3 absorb is getting you to what is it? Pro Ring has what, 6 or 8 absorb as its base level. So in comparison, it actually, like, its effectiveness grows a lot faster for like a hat or a glove than it would for a body armor. So I could be completely wrong. Y'all can correct me.
Look at this. We're all ready to check out the new world. Got our boat. I got our canal.
And we have a random rat's tail. I mean, what else could be better?
Yeah, to answer the question in chat, when we say blurs, we mean a mix of blessing and curses. So anytime with these flags, you're going to see weapons and armor, and they're probably going to have pluses or minuses. That just basically, the rule that Jad always says is pluses are good, minuses are bad. So even if you don't know the exact math behind it, if you see something that's a +5, it's probably going to be good.
Yeah, if you go to the FinalFantasyRandomizer.com website and you look at any of the flags, there's a little question mark box to the right of the flag, and those are little help hint boxes that our devs have developed to explain what the flag does. And for the blurs weapons and armor in particular, it actually does break down what each point goes towards. I believe it's absorb, agility, and something else for damage, or for armor. For weapons, it's damage output, hit percent, and crit rate. So all of those things are being affected when you get a burst item.
I like Sir Link-a-Lot buying 10 tents right there. This doesn't have any starting inventory. The earlier Duckling boot camps, we gave away some free tents at the beginning. And it's easy to take that for granted, but I always like to get a handful of tents just in case I get into a bad encounter table or I'm trying to fly through things. It's always nice to have save items on hand.
I'm kind of interested in Link's play here. Personally, it seems kind of more on the aggressive side because, Provoca didn't really have much in the way of magic, and heading over directly to Crescent Lake instead of heading to Elfland. Are you just looking for the incentive item, or are you considering diving the sea system? What are you thinking as you're going here?
Well, part of the reason why I don't want to just go to Elfland is I have 100 gold to my name. So even if I find any good spells, I can't do anything with it. So right now I'm just get incentives to get more experience, maybe find something like what I'll find in Crescent to give me some options to potentially go get some money as well.
Well, level 6 nuke, that's a little bit of a womp womp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wasn't too happy about that one.
Yeah. Well, it looks like your gamble paid off, because with that key coming from the Circle of Sages, that opens up the Elfland Treasury, Dwarf Treasury, Northwest Treasury. There's no incentive item in Canaria locked, but that opens that up as well. So at least in terms of looking for money or armor, weapons, there's a lot of options that have been opened up. But it looks like Sir Link-a-Lot's heading towards Volcano.
I love this. With level 1 Ice 2, absolutely.
Oh, come on. It's all about the Quad X. You pray for that nice little 1 to 2 enemy encounter trap tile and hope that Quad X lands. Hey, see, look, a sea troll. It's gotta have less than 300 health, right? Hey, there it goes.
That's not bad for some early levels. What I like about this play, not specifically just going to Volcano, but going to this side of the world, is Sir Link-a-Lot's absolutely right. Didn't have the gold to be able to go and get magic spells, so no reason to go to Elfland right away. And finding the key, that gave him 2 choices. Well, 3 choices. 1, take around the Crescent Lake area, maybe find some peas that will go down to Cake. He could go to Volcano because of the Ice 2, or he could take a gamble and head back to Elfland, open up those 4 treasure chests, hopefully, get a nice bit of gold from it. This is a little disgusting.
Yeah, I don't like this pack anymore. I want to go home.
I mean, it's delicious with the Ice 2 if you don't get, Naga'd and watered, but...
Yeah, it's the Naga water tile is one of those that's a phenomenal amount of experience if you have nuke at a low level and they don't have anything, but that just seemed like an ugly tile for very, very early on in the game.
Yeah, having Rub right away, which it kind of makes me, I'm gonna go check the rest of that. Maybe not.
Yeah. Well, I feel like this also brings up that concept of the pseudo-loose up in Volcano. The incentive chest in Volcano is on Carrie's floor, so it's pretty deep in. But with the incentive item being in a random chest, there's a possibility that it's in that armory, and there's so many chests there that you could wind up finding that incentive item, or you could just wind up with a decent amount of money and some good weapons and armor. So it's a nice, Volcano is always a nice play to make if you are looking for some quick loot, quick items, quick accessories, and potentially 2 trap tiles that could really get you started off in the early game. I would just say you've got to make sure that you have the resources to actually do something while you're here. As someone who had an entire Duck Derby run fighting off nuke giants for a good half an hour in Volcano, Yeah. Pair. Preparation.
Yeah, I remember that. That was a thing.
Yep. I think that was race 4.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly.
it
That was a rough day.
See, speaking of money,
Yeah. Well, and I've heard Jat say this time and time again that you don't want to do the whole Elfland loop with magic shops, and wow, that's just a little bit of change. Until you have enough money to actually purchase everything, and with that 28,000 in Elfland Armory, definitely got enough. Brack Fast Lit 2 is a great thing to see in level 3.
I really wish we could have like a level 3 spell.
Like Fade?
yeah, like when you see level 3 white magic, you're gonna be really happy.
Yeah.
Fade, exits, or for the white mage. God, I love white mages.
Yeah, well, and I think those are slots 2 and 4, right? So that's
So it's their white lock. So the value of my red mage is diminishing quickly at this point.
Yeah. Have you been planning on going 3-man and just trying to figure out when that's going to naturally happen?
Did I lose y'all?
Oh, I was going to say,
Get back!
did I lose, or did Link go away, or what happened?
Yeah, you just cut out for me. I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah, so I had asked if you've been planning on going 3-man and just waiting for the right moment for one of your light warriors to drop out, or have you been trying to go 4-man for this run?
Part of that was going to depend on spells. If there was good white magic and my red wizard could learn, or red mage could learn it, or was just red lock or locked by promotion, then I'd probably consider dumping the red mage at that point. But the white magic on the red mage is basically worthless right now. I don't think I have anything good on white magic. Heal 2, I think, is my best spell. I think it's the only white one I've bought. So I'm just like, I'll probably wait to see if a light spell is learnable at 5. Since I already know 6 and there's no light spell, to see just in case to have that second life caster. That's kind of why I'm doing Marsh.
White mage time.
Yeah, that's kind of why I'm doing Marsh Cave, is just because of, I don't really need levels at this point because I got those levels off the Sea Troll Sea Snakes. To see if there's anything in here that can just kill off the red mage quickly, which, speaking of, I want to put up front so that can happen, just in case.
I see. Yeah, I see in chat Admiral Tryhard saying Diet Nuke in terms of Fade, and I think back whenever I see Fade in Harm especially, I think back to Lord Fizzlebeef, one of our admins, and someone who's invested a lot in training newer runners. Did a series, basically, tips and tricks going through your first randomizer, and he referred to Fade as the dollar store version of Nuke, and Harm 4 as the dollar store version of Fade. And the reason I bring that up is, yes, it has that hierarchy of Nuke is better than Fade is better than Harm 4. However, they're all still valuable in their own spots. Like, if you can get Fade and you don't have Nuke, go for it. It's great. And then don't neglect Harm 3 and Harm 4, especially as you go down through Marsh Cave that has a lot of undead. Like Marsh Cave and Ice Cave, Harm 4 can be as valuable as Fade, simply because of the number of undead packs you can run into. Speaking of which,
Yeah. So checking out Northwest Castle, checking out the trap tiles here, as well as the treasure chest is an amazing play. You're hoping to get a little gold to get those gold +3 bracelets that we saw over in Elfland, and we get rewarded with what appears to be 1,000,000 XP in Agama form.
oof.
Sad
Well,
part is they have a lot of health.
Yeah.
It's something for me to keep in mind when I get maybe a little bit more levels and they're not just one-shotting people. But they're hitting me fairly hard, even with armor. And I don't have, like, another Fade, and I could probably do one, but Ice 2 and Fade wasn't enough against ones that they rolled high too, so...
Yeah. I think back to what was it? The Chaos Rampage tournament that we did at the end of last year, which was you have to kill all 4 fiends, but you start off with an airship. And one of the most important aspects of going fast in that particular tournament or that flag set is finding a good trap tile, but also identifying efficient trap tiles. And while the 4 Agamas are, a ton of experience, the fact that they have so much HP makes them just an inefficient grind. Yes, you could get to 32 on your black belt with those 4 Agamas. It's just going to take a lot longer and be a lot more dangerous. So I think it's the right move to dip out of that particular encounter.
Now, if that Ice 2 was Ice 3 instead, I would consider doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You might be able to, with 2 casts of it, take them down. As long as you can, beat them in, one time, you're going to get 4 or 5 levels, and it's going to make it so much easier.
Yeah, I think one of the things I kept being told through that process was how many turns does it take? How many rounds does it take to take down that particular trap tile? And I think one of the places I want to say it was in the Fall League. I got hammered on the Chaos Rush week because I tried to do 4 Gasties, and it was fantastic experience. They just took 3 or 4 rounds to put down, and it just ends up wasting so much time if you're trying to go for that fastest run. If it goes down in 1 round or 2 rounds, that's perfect. But yeah, as Deadpool said, 2 rounds, like 1 or 2 rounds is great. 3 or 4 rounds, it's better left for something else.
As we saw, George's not being very nice.
And we do want to welcome Super Billy Jilly, rating with a party of 4. Welcome to our Final Fantasy Randomizer Duck Derby showcase. It's our last week of the Duckling Boot Camp, doing a flag set that's reminiscent of our spring tournament this year to show our raiders or our runners, hey, what's it like to do a faster, more competitive style flag set compared to some of the more focused flag sets that we've done in the past.
So we're pulling out an Oxio from Sarda. Sir Linkalot, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't want to go there yet because levels, and that's the main thing. There's a lot to do, and I have Brack, but I don't like specifically that being my only thing because you can get all the way down to Kraken, especially looking for a loose item.
Mm-hmm.
And then Brack doesn't land, and bad things happen. So what I'm thinking right now is I've got the spells. I might try to take the Agamas to get some levels at this point. That's the main thing I'm thinking about before trying to go to the Northern Continent. I also have Ice Cave and I've got Exit. So that's not a terrible idea either. I can also go back to Volcano too.
Well, if I was
You
to
can
ask
also hit
Deadpulse,
ordeals on that.
I was gonna say, if I was gonna ask
Ordeals
Deadpulse
too.
where he's going, he's already been at Ordeals for the last 8 minutes.
Are you kidding me? As soon as I saw that canal.
You know, it's funny because every time I leave the Inner Sea, I think of Dead Pulse going to Ordeals, and I keep resisting it because I don't want to, and then Dead Pulse goes very, very fast and finds great things in Ordeals. So it's a good play. Can't deny it.
I can't believe there was a time when I didn't like going to ordeals.
A long, long time ago.
I also didn't like winning, so they went hand in hand.
Never been in that situation. Yeah, and so these Agamas are, like you said, beefy, but decent turn order, decent RNG, will do wonders. I don't remember how many levels you got there. Was it like 3 or 4?
That was 3 to the entire party.
3 to the entire party, except for that black belt who took a nap.
No, Red Wizard, the Red Mage took one out.
3 to all the important party members.
Exactly.
Yep. That's what I was just like, Red Mage, just get your Ice 2 off before you die. That's all I really care about, because this should only take 1 or 2 rounds. And then, and I probably will have enough Fades and Ice 2s to do 1 more. And Red Mage was like, nah, I'm going to get bad turn order, and I'm going to die first. So, okay, whatever.
Clementidis, the Blursings on the black belt, I believe, were plus 30 HP and minus 10 strength?
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. Yeah, and as a reminder, I feel like we talk about black belts and Blursing enough, but strength goes towards your weapon damage with melee attacks. So if you equip a weapon, you do a melee attack, strength affects that number. But with black belts, they're unequipped, or really with every character. Unequipped deals with level instead of strength. Actually, I think it is just black belt, the way it's coded. So yeah, black belt just uses the level, so strength has nothing to do with it. So if you get the Malice of minus strength for a black belt, it doesn't mean anything. And if you get a blessing of plus strength on a black belt, you've basically just wasted a blessing.
I'm going to make a call right now. We're going to find a ribbon in one of these chests. I have decreed it.
And it shall be so. So let's get your numbers out in chat. There are 4, 8, 9 chests, I believe, in Ordeals. Which chest is the ribbon going to be in? So you can type in numbers 1 through 9, or you can just put a 0 to say, you know what, Dead Pulse? I think you're wrong. I don't think there's going to be a ribbon in Ordeals.
That's dangerous thinking.
I know. Wolf and Josh immediately putting in a 0.
Oh, Saracen, you traitor. Listen, I believe in me. You should believe in the me that believes in me.
Oh. See, Link's gonna ruin my whole numbering system. If he opens this chest, does this count as 1 or does this count as 6? Okay, it's a house, so it doesn't matter. Actually, what number do I usually open that? That's usually number 8 for me. Is where that Link chest ends up. Saracen saying there's going to be 3 ribbons in Mermaid side. Incentive on the Kraken side. Yeah, that sounds about right.
No, I'm already getting all the bad luck out of the way in Ordeals, don't worry. I'll find everything I need.
It's all going to be in your room, waiting for you once you get that rod.
Yeah, thanks, Wizard Mummy.
So earlier we saw Catmen with slow. I don't like that, because if we run into a pack of 6 Catmen that decide to ambush us and they all cast slow, it's just going to take forever.
Yeah, anytime you run into like a big pack enemy that's going to have an AoE spell cast, it's bad enough. But once it's a spell cast that prevents you from getting out of the encounter, it's even worse. And oof, yeah, bad Wiz Mummy.
Yeah, I don't like Wiz Mummies anymore. Which also
Yeah.
means if I run into Wiz Mummies, guess what? I'm not running from them. I'm going to blow them up, like this.
Yeah. Like, it's I feel like it's a hard thing to... It's a hard thing to figure out. When do you just throw out the AoE attack, and when do you just run with your entire party? I know that there are some schools of thought or play styles that always throw at least one AoE out in case the runs don't work. Other people just run always. Do either of you, since the resident Duckling Supremes in the booth, have an approach that you use for a lot of these walking grinds and walking encounters?
So personally for me, I usually like taking 2 red mages for that specific reason, is the red mage always has sweepers. So one red mage is going to be doing what they should be doing and nuking everything. And then the other one is running along with the black mage that I have. And typically one of 2 things happens. Either everything dies to my red mage, or, you know, the black mage or the red mage run away.
Deadpulse, your opinion?
If I have 2 people that have the ability to run, like if I have a thief black mage, I will pretty much just run. But if I've only got like a superpowered black mage such as this, I will and especially with the white mage with fade, I would absolutely do run, fade, run.
So it's situational, like depending on magic, depending on party comp. I feel like that's always the answer of it depends. But I think that's a good guideline for especially some of our newer runners trying to figure out when and how. Like if you had a thief with plus luck, then absolutely just run, and you're probably gonna be okay.
Part of it also depends on like what I'm up against. Like in that case, like I knew the wizard mummy had squint, and already wiped me once, because if it targets the black mage and black mage gets squinted, that's my runner. Like my white mage has minus luck, black belts aren't great at running, and that's pretty much my sweeper. You know, my good sweeper as well, because I wanted to save extra charges. So it became that idea that if I run into a wizard mummy, I'm throwing everything I have at it just to avoid squint, because Fade or Fire 3 is probably going to kill it, whereas a run can fail.
Yeah.
You see, what happened was that we did find the power gauntlet. The second chest had the cap, which had Sir Lancelot gone to ordeals 15 minutes sooner, like I would, it would have been a ribbon. So it kind of de-evolved, if you will.
So what you're saying is that Steel Knight, who guessed chest number 2, is actually the real winner because that's where the cap was?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and if you had opened it, it would have been a ribbon, but since Link opened it, it was in fact a cap +1.
That was the punishment for having the red mage die.
Oh god.
I mean, if it makes you feel any better, typically I protect my red mages like they're gold because I love my red mages. That's partially because, hey, I run red mage on Final Fantasy XIV, so I feel compelled that I have to bring red mages. And they usually work. This is like the first time in a long time where I've seen the magic such garbage on a red mage that I've decided to just kill it off.
When I bring a bread mage, I always think of you, Sir Lancelot. And I pray that it is as good as your bread mages are. And a disclaimer quick to everybody out there, because this is the Duckling Boot Camp, I was jesting when I was suggesting that the ribbon had a half-life. It actually doesn't. I just want to make sure that we're clear.
Or you could just be me, and every time you take a red mage, it's always awful, and every time you open a chest, there's never a ribbon. So, those of you who feel yourself in that location, that's me. And yes, welcome Maniac Ascendant, raiding with a party of 12. Welcome to RPG Limit Break in our Duckling Boot Camp, Week 8.
I mean, Jet knows this. I know he's not here, but he hates me for my red mages because whenever he brings red mages, they can't run. And my red mages are just like, I'm out. I don't want to be here anymore. What's my luck? I don't care. I'm leaving.
Yeah. I remember having numerous conversations with Jat after right before the co-op tournament last year about red mages. And he tried very hard to convince me that red mages were worth it, and eventually we both went to Oreo. So yeah, that's very much Link owns the red mage, and Link wins with the red mage.
I just wish my red mage was a white mage most of the time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I like my Oreo. Like, honestly, Fighter Thief White Black is what I wish I could always run, but it's typically not the best party comp. There's just something about it that makes me happy. And a bottle.
We also found a delicious pro ring of -1, but who cares?
Yeah, and pro rings protect against death element, if I remember correctly. And elemental spells and knowing which ones are covered by which item is definitely something to be aware of. I'm very bad at it personally, so especially when you're talking about things like glare and yeah, quad X, poison, toxic, like all of those, they have their own element to them, and some of them are counterintuitive. Like I think toxic is actually death element, so having an idea of which one's where and understanding, especially when you get into Topher, Zap is going to be in the spellcasting pool, and there's very few elements that protect against time. So especially if you're going into a Topher or a late game dungeon without ribbons, pro rings, dragon armor, Aegis shield, all of these, or black shirt, white shirt, all of these other defensive items can actually be lifesavers if you know how to use them properly.
So we've checked levels 1 through 6 magic, and we checked the on-rack 7. We still have yet to see a life spell. That is a little alarming, and I think there's going to be a little strategy change. But the quad X hitting on the Grey Sharks, that's pretty nice.
The one thing that concerns me about that is they took damage ahead of time, so I don't actually have an accurate idea if they have less than 300 health. So one of the reasons, and this is the reason why I'm actually checking right side and not Kraken side, like you would normally see somebody, and why I brought the red mage back up is I'm going to try to kill Kraken while I'm here. So I basically brought the red mage up, and I'm doing left side first to see if I can get some good EXP encounters to get maybe another charge or two of Krak on the red mage. And then once Kraken's dead, red mage goes back to taking naps.
I'm very glad you didn't decide at level 7, hey, I'm going to try to take on Kraken. I don't think my heart could take that kind of excitement.
See, some of us are foolish enough to attempt that particular dive. Level 7, I've got Brack, everything's gonna be fine, and just pray that Brack actually has its relatively high hit rate, unless you're Greg, and in which case it's about a 2% hit.
We got Invis 2 at level 1. We've got a couple of Brack charges, a pocket full of dreams, feeling fine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm switching my strategy up because of silly Wizzahegs.
Wizzahegs with damage poison.
Yo!
Gross.
Yeah. That's not fun. That's very not fun.
We've seen a lot of disgusting things this seed.
Yeah. Well, I think that's one of the things that keeps, especially, I will say this, going into my Duckling Derby and doing a ton of practice, one of the hardest things to deal with, even like going into spring, the Fall League, one of the hardest things to deal with as a newer runner is what happens when things go bad. Like, if you make a play and you're trying to get ahead and things go very, very wrong, how do you adjust to that? What do you do? How do you think through the process? Do you leave and come back? Do you re-dive? Do you get different equipment? Do you try different spells? Do you go left side versus right side? I feel like there's a lot of... I know for me, whenever I hit that situation, I would just keep bashing my head against the wall and wasting time. But I think the longer you run, the the more you learn some of the tips and tricks, and then listening and watching other experienced runners and what they do can really give some insight. So, with that being said, Deadpulse, what do you think in terms of you go right side, you run into a really nasty encounter? How would you approach this dungeon given that particular circumstance?
I don't take my advice. I would go back right side. I would do a soft reset. I would go back right side. I would hope that because I have exit and there's more chests over there, like I've kind of already committed to it. If somebody else saw the same thing and decided to go left side, basically I'm either right or wrong. But I would personally own that decision. It is probably not the correct one.
It is calculated risk.
Absolutely. That's what, especially in like a multi-race, you can't plan to be taking on one person, and you need to take, I think the conversation I had, you need to take 1 to 2 risks, like calculated risks, not things that are like a 1% chance, but things that are, 50-50, maybe a 60-40. And when they pay off, you're going to be in a much better position.
Yeah.
When they don't,
Yeah, well, that in mind, Link, you just ran into 4 Gasties with Fire 3 that were not very fun. What's going through your mind right now?
I hate Siege Shrine right now. That's what's going through my mind right now. My mind is like, I'm probably leaving. I'm going to check right side. If it's not here, I'm probably going to leave Siege Shrine for later. Just to get some levels, knowing Wizard Sahagins are dangerous. There's a chest behind Green Dragons that I might not need to check, but I might. Hey, that's going to be something that'll help with those Green Dragons. I found something nice.
Oh, whatever could it be? I'm guessing a ribbon. Ribbon -2. Oh no, and just an Opal Shield so far. Maybe we'll catch up. Yeah. Gil Toss doesn't come out for another couple ribbon +2.
That's a mighty looking headwear right there.
Double Opal +3 bonks. So that ribbon, again, it's like, one of the reasons I love Final Fantasy, I love commentating it. Adds to the stress of running it, but definitely love commentating it, is that ribbon changes the entire equation for what do I do next from here. And we did see that Link picked up a haiku, which is essentially the loot, one of our fun percent flags of multi-instrumentalist Sarah, which replaces the loot with a series, I don't even know how many there are, like 30 or so, 40 different instruments that members of the community came up with. So Link, is this going to change your approach? Are you going to bail now that you have your haiku, or are you going to give Kraken one more shot?
Oh no, Kraken's going to die now.
I like your style.
I can skip the Green Dragons. Kraken's about to die.
Mm-hmm. Are you gonna?
And on the way, I'll take like easy experience fights, like the Gersharks, especially when there's 2 of them. It's just like, this is just easy experience to grab. I mean, even with the Red Mage up, it's 2,000 a member. Are
you thinking you're gonna go right to Brack strats, or what's kind of your play going in, knowing that you're pretty underleveled for this fight?
Gonna be combination strats. I've got the Invis 2 on the white mage. I'm gonna Invis 2. The red mage is gonna be there to try to brack and basically be a meat shield for one punch of Kraken. Well, I get Invises up, and I already have the incentive was the power bonk. So because I got that as an incentive, if I can get the black belt high enough, it's just like it'll eventually just do enough damage by itself.
I wanted to hit on something that DVS said earlier and really pound it home. He was talking about getting more comfortable with your characters and understanding kind of their limitations. So even though Link's party is, his black belt is 14, he has enough experience to realize, yeah, as long as I Invis 2 and probably do maybe 3-4 power blocks plus the fast, that's going to be enough to take out Kraken in a reasonable amount of time. And that's something, if you didn't have experience, you might not think that was a viable option and default to Brack strats.
And that's also like Brack strats are, that's how I'm hoping to fight. I'm hoping for turn 1 Brack, the backup strat is just, hey, just in case something dumb happens, Bracks don't go off, both my Brackcasters get killed right away, whatever the case might be. It's always good to have a backup strat and not just to have, all of your eggs in one basket, because then if something terrible happens, you're either resetting or it's taking forever to actually finish at that point because you got to think on the fly.
Poison touch lobsters make me sad. I suppose they
when they're
no death touch.
Canoe that blares like a kazoo. Oh my. See, those are the kinds of comments that get a dev very excited, and then all of a sudden we have a boat that goes as fast as the floater or the airship, and you end up docking yourself and running your boat ashore, which is another fantastic flag that's recently come up from our devs. So, yeah, if you like coming up with creative ideas and getting ridiculously good luck on your Brackcasts, yeah, head over to our Discord, or you can get there through FinalFantasyRandomizer.com, and throw in some ideas. If you love playing the game, you have some ideas for some new flags or some adjustments to some current flags. We have an ever-growing dev community that is very happy to teach people how to code and modify the game and create some of your own flags yourself.
Sometimes you can get a first turn Brack. Maybe you should have come here at level 7, Sir Lincoln.
No, because if I were to come here at level 7, Bracks just wouldn't have landed. That's how it works.
He's got a point.
Plus, I had to manipulate the RNG by letting the Wizard Mummy wipe me and the Gurr Dragons to wipe me and all of that stuff too. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, absolutely. You gotta reset those RNG tables to make sure that everything turns out in your favor.
I feel like Brack is a lawnmower. You gotta prime it first.
Yeah, that's what we were doing. Letting the Black Mage have time to focus on the Brack, so it's just like, we need this Brack to hit before Kraken even gets a turn. Black Mage is like, give me 40 minutes, I'll be fine.
Now, if considering we're heading into Earth Cave, and in chat, this is another place for you guys to get involved. Link and I referred to it earlier. There's a particular room on Earth 4 that I refer to as the Link Room, because Sir Link-a-Lot tends to find a fantastic item in the bottom left room of Earth 4, the 3 chests right before Lich. So I would like to know from chat, what ridiculous item do you think Link is gonna find in Link's room? We could have a ribbon, a massa, we could have the key item for the dungeon, the Thor hammer. I like that call. I'm liking Thor hammer. I think I'm gonna double down on that. Wolf and Josh pulling out the massa. See,
I'm gonna say the Coral Sword -2.
Oof. Payback from Kraken.
I know what's gonna come.
I love Krellin saying 30 gold.
It's gonna be the Whirlpool +5 just because I've made the red mage take a dirt nap most of the sea.
Yes, poetic justice. What kind of random?
Wait, we might have already seen the
Whirlpools?
Coral Sword, so I'm gonna change my mind. I'm gonna say
I think we have
Great
seen. I'm gonna
Axe.
go check. I think we. No, that was the Rune Sword. Never mind.
We had a rune +4 at one point, I think.
Yes, I have that in my inventory.
Oh, you know what it's gonna be? It's gonna be both katanas. And they're both gonna be +4. In loving memory of our thief who can't run.
Now, I love checking the mini armory up here, the 5 chests, if I have warp.
Mm-hmm.
It takes about 14 extra seconds to check these 5 chests, warp back, and continue on your way.
And you say that because you did actually calculate it, didn't you?
Yep, that's going to be the average based on 0.7 and 0.8 encounter rates.
So it looks like we're at least getting the incentive item in Link's room. What that incentive item happens to be is still up for question.
I'm expecting a fetch quest, just because we have so many fetch quests left, and I've gotten, unless it's a floater or something.
You know what? You get the white shirt.
So let it be done.
Hey, that's something for my red mage to do.
Did Link check Earth TFC? The answer is no. And that was purposeful. One of the things about this particular flag set, and with our pseudo loose, is we have, what's it called? Behind gating and before gating. And for a dungeon like this, gating means before rod or after rod. And good heavens, Sir Tobalot was right, and we found that floater in the first check in Link's room.
And I was right. We found the Opal -2 helmet. Nothing? Not gonna call me on that? Alright.
Honestly, I didn't hear what you said.
That hurts me, DVS.
I'm sorry. I'm trying so hard. I was trying to read chat, and I can't listen while I read.
DVS doesn't take my calls anymore. my 3 a.m. math homework calls.
Oh, I always answer your math calls. You're like, hey man, what's up? No, I'm just kidding. I've missed you, Dead Pulse.
We should do this more often.
We should. We absolutely should. I think this is the first time we've actually done this, too. Together, at least. Usually it's just you making fun of me from my chat, which I love dearly.
This is true. I do like to roast you.
And
I do like Fire 3 on Lich. To get back to the real thing going on here.
yeah, fades, fire 3s, punches, a pretty beefy Lich, too. As in TOO, not TWO. So you guys have probably already talked about all of this, but especially when you're doing, like, with these mixed percentages, keeping an idea of what the vanilla HP for all of your fiends are is a nice thing to have in the back of your head, and it's actually pretty simple. It starts at 400, which is Lich 1, and then it just counts up by 2. So 400, 600, 800, 1000. That's your 4 fiends. The Fiend 2s just add 100 HP. So instead of Lich being 400, he's 500. Instead of Carrie being 600, she's 700. Kraken, instead of 800, 900. Tia, instead of 1,000, it's 1,100. And then Chaos is 2,000. So I just think 4, 6, 8, 10. Do I add 1 or not? And then Chaos is 2,000, and that usually is a nice approximation for where you can expect your fiends to have their HP values to let you know if you should go all in on, like, you know, fade, or if you just should try to heal up or put some evade cast down because it's going to be a longer fight.
I like math so much, I'm gonna give a question to chat. Chat, in the vanilla game, what monster has 63 health? That is 63 health.
I feel like that's a very random number. Something must have spurred you on for 63 health. I'm gonna go with an ogre. I'm gonna go with an ogre.
It is not an ogre. An ogre has 100 health. And a pony is close. It gives 64 experience.
Why do you know these numbers?
I'm probably just making them up. Sir Tobalot, it is a creep. If I had some sort of imaginary points to give you, I would give them to you right now.
I was actually going to guess creep, but I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure creeps have like 50-something, not 63.
Hold on, I'm gonna fact check. Because
I am reasonably positive it's 63. If it turns out to be 56, I don't know what I'll do.
Okay, creep.
I get the points thing because I figured creeps had 50-odd health points.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
We're
want
gonna look this up.
to get my points.
Okay, that's a crawl. I want a creep.
Well, make sure you're fact checking before telling them to guess things.
Well, my internet froze.
You know what? If I'm wrong, we'll
internet.
just edit it out.
So only the people watching live get to experience the fallacy of
No.
your suggestion.
Listen, ogres have 100. I am 100% on that.
Yes, ogres do have 100.
And
I will confirm that one.
More things I don't know.
And Danny, at least I didn't run it into the volcano.
Ugh.
I don't remember how much health gargoyles have, but it's entirely too much.
Creeps have 56 hit points.
Oh, that's such a lie.
They have 63 experience.
Oh, come on. I missed it. Oh my goodness. You know what? That's close enough.
False.
Everyone
False.
gets points. Including me, I get double points.
I
don't think that's how that works since you had your information wrong. You get half points at best.
You know what? I'll take half points. I was getting nothing before.
And yes, ogres have 100 hit points. I feel like I can't trust anything Deadpulse says right now.
Yeah, you're just learning that?
Waters, on the other hand, have 1,962 experience, which is a large number. So that Naga water fight, though very deadly, can be a phenomenal XP pull if you have the AoE casts to take them down, and they're not deadly awful with spells and massive amounts of HP. So if you luck out and you get your Naga 6 water tile with early nuke and they have like 300 hit points, it's juicy experience. No need for eyes when you have water.
The scary part is I have to do that again. Maybe.
The Cure 4 is crying. It just begs to be used.
Don't have to do it.
Yay!
Now here's another math thing. Cure 4 gives a, quote, lot of HP back.
Yep, I'll allow it. It's like statistics class. It's essentially correct. Therefore, it's good enough. And hey, there's our adamant, which is in that top left room. Unless I'm doing like a all loose floor entrance shuffle, I do not go to that room. It's just one of my least favorite places to go. And I keep forgetting that the top right room has its chest linked to the top left. Yeah, extra chests.
I'm starting to like that room because Dangwoo likes that room, and Dangwoo is cool, and therefore I like that room.
I used to like you, Dead Pulse. I used to. But then you jumped in Dangwoo's corner. When you jump in Dangwoo's corner, I mean, I have never... Arch enemies are born to be arch enemies. And Dangwoo is my arch enemy.
I smell a match coming up.
Oh, we've had plenty, and they are always vicious. Though when Dangwoo powers up with the power of the puff, they're unstoppable. I think 0-4 against the upstarts in any sort of competitive matchup. So one of these days, I will be victorious!
Disbelief. Roast. So we're taking on Carrie, who, according to DVS, has 600 health.
Now you're making me second guess myself. 600-ish.
No, Carrie does have 600 health, and I'm going to put my definitely creeps have 56 and or 63 health.
Yeah, so I think with this flag set, was it 100 to 150? So that would be 600 to 900 hit points. Something like that.
That sounds right.
Well,
I'll make it easy for you. Carrie was scary. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, it's not looking very good. Oh, with 320 coming out though, that quad X hopefully. There it goes. Okay, so that quad X landed, and that's where I got thrown off by Saracen in chat. Again, calculating those hit points really comes into play, because when you have something like Quad X, which is a 300 hit point insta-death spell, and you know that Carrie has to have between 600 and 900 HP, once you hit that 600 threshold, you know as a matter of fact that Quad X is going to work, and it can adjust your end of the match play.
So if I'm Sir Lancelot, I'm looking at the clock. We're at about 58 minutes in. I've got 3 orbs lit. I'm still missing, my chime, my cube. There's a lot of things that I need to do. I still haven't found a grind yet, and that's partially responsible because of all of the ickiness that was going on. The kind of runaround. We've been getting some good key items, but not the right ones. So I like going to Ice Cave, finish this off. Hopefully get, chime, the cube, something out of this.
Yeah, because right now I've got bottle turn in, I've got adamant turn in. Outside of that, it's Ice Cave, so chances are there's going to be something here that I need. Plus, there are a lot of grind tiles. Depending on what I find, I could just potentially do a 2-man grind with the white mage and the black belt, because with the clamps the way they are, it's only 100 to 150 on health, and the stats aren't terrible. I could easily run the black belt just to 32, and that should be fine.
Yeah, I'm trying to think through our incentive items, because we picked up Bonk. We haven't seen Vorpal or White Shirt, and we have, according to the tracker, Crystal, Herb, TNT, Slab, Chime, and cube that we still need to find. I mean, that's a lot of incentive items for very few locations.
I mean, I've been partially tracking. There's a chance I missed something out.
That explains everything.
Oh, Blizzard Scorpions, gross. Yeah, well, to Josh, I like the idea of finding the black shirt and having, doing a 3-man grind on that for a little bit, but I think that, especially where we're going next after this, we're going to go turn in the bottle. So Link is probably going to look for an overworld grind, maybe up in the desert area.
The big, I don't know why I did a run here. The biggest issue with that is there's a huge run before the actual encounter. So probably what I'm going to actually do when I'm done here, which is probably going to be a second dive depending on encounters, is check Temple of Fiends for its spike tiles.
That's a good idea. And Danny, 3883, best in the business, confirming that the tracking is correct because she's doing it. She's always got my back. Thank you, Danny.
I mean, someone's got to make sure you're actually doing your job. Yep, lost my train of thought. Oh, right. What trap tile are you looking for? I mean, at this point, where you know it's alternate trap tiles, you've seen the Quad Agama, you've seen the Water Naga, you've seen the Ghastly. Is there some? Are you just kind of like hoping for the 3-eye, or is there something else that you're hoping for?
Golems as well aren't terrible. I mean, golems with the low-level fade, like I said, if I needed to do a 2-man, I could run a 2-man grind with the white mage. It's not terrible, especially knowing the fact that my light spells are level 7 or level 8. So if I want those, I'm going to need to grind the white mage higher than what you might normally do anyways.
Yeah, one of my favorite is the fighter tile. So the 1 or 2 fighters. It actually, fighters have more experience than eyes do. So especially, you know, if you get a fighter tile that you can put down in 1 or 2 rounds, it's a great experience buff for black belt parties. And, you know, even if you're getting 3 eyes versus 2 fighters, it's going to end up being more efficient over the long run. So, highly recommend that tile if you end up stumbling upon it.
I just don't like Ice Cave. we heard I'm finding the incentive to get out here.
I think basically everything has treated Link poorly this run, except maybe Marsh Cave.
Yeah, Marsh Cave was nice. Nothing was scary happened in Marsh Cave. Because I didn't have to go to the bottom, though. I only had to go to the top.
Let me tell you, for those of you out there thinking about it, there are the spike tiles in Marsh Cave, and that is your absolute last resort. You got nothing else going on. Check. Out of the times that I've done that, I think once it was sort of successful, and the rest of the time it was just a giant letdown.
Though I will say, with pseudo loose, there's like, especially going into the ST flags, there was that discussion of top first or bottom first, especially with the loose potentially going either way. Going up top is fewer steps, but it's also fewer chests, so there's a higher probability of getting the incentive item in the bottom as Link picks up the crown in the 6 chest room. And real quick, noting on what Link just did right there, he walked along the bottom row because that's not going to increase the encounter table. It's a nice thing to do. I like doing that when I desperately want to get out of Ice Cave and don't want an encounter, but you know, it's more steps, fewer encounter advances, but I like the play when it comes to, you know, you're low in health and trying to not die as much as possible. And now I lost what I was saying earlier, but it was probably witty and informative.
I think you were complimenting me, and I accept it.
Yes, you are quite fantastic. By the way, if you haven't seen Dead Pulse's avatar, it's beautiful. I'm very jealous. Made by, I believe Darkmoon made it for you, right?
Was the one and only, the greatest.
And who happens to be restreaming today. Throwing out my love to Darkmoon. Part of Team D&D and D&D and D.
Yeah, we really all need to get on some sort of team. Is there any? Yeah, everyone who's participating in this broadcast, with the exception of Sir Link-a-Lot, has, you know, a D at the beginning of their name.
I see how it is.
I don't think I can call him Durlink-a-Lot. I think that's...
Oh my.
We can go with Darunia a lot, since there's a character that has a D name in.
I was just going to say Dashing Sir Link-a-Lot.
I mean, that works too.
Oh, speaking of teams, right, you made a perfect segue. I don't know if you even realized it. Speaking of teams... Oh, you did? Oh, okay, so I'm just picking... Okay, no... But hey, coming up in the next couple weeks, we are having our annual co-op tournament over the summer. So I haven't seen the flags yet for the upcoming co-op run. There's a lot of D-named race crew folks. Yeah, so I haven't seen the flags yet. All I know is that I am participating. I don't have a partner yet, but it is going to be a load of fun. I love that it happened right after my Duckling Derby, and it is a phenomenal way to get to know other people in the community, learn how to play the game differently, and it's just a blast all around. So if you are looking to join in on, if you're looking to join in on the co-op tournament, there is its own channel in the Final Fantasy Randomizer Discord. It's very simple to set up. I've helped walk a number of runners through their first couple matches to make sure they have everything working. There's a lot of other people in the community happy to do a couple runs with you just to help you get used to the technology. The only requirement is that you have BizHawk. So I know that there are other emulators out there that people use for Final Fantasy, but we're using a Lua script that works only with BizHawk. And if you don't have that emulator, there are plenty of links and videos and people who are happy to help you. But it is a great time, and I highly recommend it.
If you listen to one thing that I have to say, listen to this. Co-op is amazing. You should absolutely do it. Insert peer pressure here.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, lots of people looking for partners.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great way to meet some new people, talk about Final Fantasy, try to win some races, have a little fun along the way.
Mm-hmm.
What more could you ask for?
Well, and one of the again, it's one of those things that just kind of is natural about a number of the people in this community that I love and respect. There's a number of veterans who also pick up very new runners as co-op partners. I know Danny is one of those that regularly speaks very highly of not only Lord Fizzlebeef, who kind of taught her everything she knows, save her co-op partner Spellzap, who, if you haven't followed Spellzap, he's a phenomenal FFR runner, and picked up Danny as a co-op partner very early on in her career, and has really transformed her into what she will not agree with me, but she is by far one of the strongest runners that we have. She knows this game left, right, and center. She knows how to make decisions, and daggone, it's scary every time she runs. But yeah, I know that Fizzle ran with another Duckling earlier in the last co-op run. And we had we had kind of like a little pickup league. I think we called it the Double Dragon, which was basically our Iron Gall, but with co-op. And we had a number of teams with newer runners matched with less experience, with veteran runners, and it's just been a great community building experience. Devious, I'm telling you guys. Oh, I told you wouldn't agree with me, Danny.
To the action, we are still taking those Agamas a little bit. It's going to be a kind of a slog to do that, but this is probably the best and safest grind that we have access to. So, being able to identify this early and say, you know what, I don't want to take the Agamas because they have too much health. Seeing the rest of the stuff, and then I don't want to say swallowing your pride, but really like, okay, now I'm coming back here because this is the best I have, is a great play.
Yeah. Part is I wanted to get to 21 as well, and I'm about to see, okay, I might stay here, I'm going to see how regularly my black belt can kill these in one hit, because main thing is, like, I wanted to get to 21, that way if I go check the desert, even though it's got a long step for the encounters, I'll probably be able to one-shot it. So it's not like I have to go there and find out, hey, there's a good encounter, but I can't kill it solo yet. So let me just go get the levels, plus it gets my mage's levels as well while I'm doing it.
Yeah, Wolf and Josh asking in chat, why no nukes? Nuke was at level 6, and...
I probably have 1 or 2 charges of it now.
Yeah, I'm not... More things that Devious doesn't know about this game. There are specific levels that you get your first spell charge for each level. I want to say it's either 24 or 26 is when you get your first cast at level 8.
25.
25? See, you know what? Average it out. I got it.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But as far as level 6 goes, let me do my quick math, because it's 5, 8, 12, 16, 20.
That's a lot bigger than 6.
20 is level 7, 16 is level 6. So then you'll get your first spell charge of level 6 at 16, you will get your second at 17, and you'll get your third at 19.
More things I didn't know. That's why I have on my one of the many spreadsheets that I've made for this game is all of the spell permissions for for all of my mages, and then underneath is all the different levels for each of those first spell casts. And I think Wolf and Josh is pointing out is that Link probably has a couple of those nuke charges, just isn't using them. And if there was any strategy behind not using those nuke charges and instead using those Ice 2 charges.
I mean, it does take slightly longer to get to. I was more I really wanted to gauge how well my black belt could take things out. It seemed like it was taking too long. I'm going to try with those extra levels and just see what happens now.
I think we've mentioned this enough before, but ice is the unique element. Fire and lit both deal approximately the same damage, but ice does deal slightly more damage in comparison. And if you have an enemy that is weak to ice, such as waters and agamas, an ice 3 can be more powerful than a nuke. Obviously, we're casting ice 2 instead of ice 3. But it's one of those things that, you can either sit down with a monster manual and memorize all of the weaknesses and strengths of every single enemy, as well as their hit points and experience, like Dead Pulse does, or you can be like me and just, hey, red things, I should cast blue things.
Half the things I memorize are right, so I'll take those on.
It's okay, half the things I memorize are wrong, so you got me beat. Boom, kiss! Hey!
we are turning the slab, and then we're probably going to go do this and the bottle, and this should give us our our chime and our cube.
Yeah, so we got the unfortunate quest to get our last couple go mode items. And I think the actually I don't have the flags anymore. I want to say that the sky incentive item is fully random, which means it could be before the cube, it could be after the cube. We don't actually know which one it is. So there is the rare possibility of having the cube in Mirage Tower, or in other cases, you might end up having your progression item locked behind the chime, but in front of the cube. So it's a very rare circumstance that doing an early Mirage dive might have your progression. That being said, there's a lot of chests in Mirage, and there's a lot of high experience enemies. So it is a nice one of those calculated risk plays that we were talking about earlier.
So what items are we missing then? There's still a white shirt and the Vorpal outstanding, or did I miss that with the turn-ins?
Nope, they're both outstanding. I forgot to turn in the herb. Herb's going to lead to Vorpal or white shirt, so I'll probably check that before going into Topher just to see, hey, maybe it is a white shirt. Because that gives me a good reason to bring my red mage up to be like, hey, I don't care about anything you do, just...
I'm useful.
White shirt. Yeah, pretty much. I'm helping. That's that thing.
Yeah. And for those watching, Link probably found out that Lethane had the cube before mentioning that the other two items and their incentive locations. So there's not, I mean, really that chime could have been either the herb turn-in or the other incentive turn-in. Link probably just saw it before we saw it here on the broadcast screen. Unless you have magical powers, which is also a possibility.
It could be both.
They asked me to shut it off for the tournament, so...
Oh.
And we find Ankylos not great.
Yeah. That is a long run off that power cycle, unfortunately.
At this point,
technically faster than the Agamas.
Yeah, I would consider just not even doing a hard reset, just running through the encounter table just to see what else I can get.
Yeah. I mean, like, the steak and wings is nice. But then again, like, there's so many different large scale and large pack encounters in Sky through Mirage. It's really just it's a risk play. You know, it's one of them calculated risk plays of how it's gonna work. And like Link said, you know, one steak and wings fight could be the same as, you know, an Agama fight. So this probably ends up being a little bit faster if you were to time the whole thing.
Well, I mean, that dinosaur just took a 457 punch to the face and didn't care.
Yeah. Well, and you just saw 15,000 come out of that T-Rex, which was, I think it was the second. I assume it was the second off the hard reset in that lower left corner. So you punch a Tyro for, you know, 8, 9k, and then, 7k, and then you pop a T-Rex for 14k. He'll be at 32 probably in one more tent or so.
This is a beautiful showcase of how to do an alternative to the desert grind. Like, checking out for those second encounters was a huge thing in this case. Like, literally, this is the best grind of the game. You have found it. We're going to be doing this for the next, 7-ish minutes. and then we're going to blitz through the remainder of this game.
Yeah, I think the only question you run into is, how far do you take this particular grind? I have my thoughts on this. Where are you thinking you're taking this, Link?
With how scary things have been, and it's just like everything wants to murder me. Normally, with the clamps and stuff like that, I was going to stop at 32, but with life spells extremely high, and you really kind of running a 3-man party, not having like 3 good characters in the black belt that can basically just carry me, I'm going to take it to 42 because I also found the defense sword too.
Mm-hmm.
So if terrible things happen to all the mages, I have every single tool at my disposal to man mode what I need in Topher. So that's why I'm just like, I'm going to go completely safe, take it to 42 because it shouldn't take too terribly long with these encounters, especially now that I'm 32, nothing's going to survive more than one round.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think we've kind of talked about that difference between just kind of what happens when you get into a race or a competitive race situation. By the way, we did start up our weekly races again. They're coming up on Thursday night this week. Typically, we do Mondays and Thursdays when we're not in the heavy tournament season. So we'll probably be picking those the twice a week synced runs in the next couple weeks. But if you're planning on running the Duck Derby and you have not done one of our sync races, our weekly races on Thursday night or Monday, then I highly, highly recommend that you try to do at least one. It lets you know how do we set up the racetime.gg room? What does it look like to roll a seed? What does it look like when they set up restreaming? All of those kinds of questions we really try to help walk newer runners through. And if you're nervous about it, like if you are very intimidated by the idea of streaming on Twitch or being restreamed through one of our restream partners, which is absolutely not a requirement, it is not required for you to be restreamed when you run the Duckling Derby. I've created a video in the Discord to help walk through everything that you need to set that up. But we also have other members in the community, other videos, other resources that can help you get it, learn how to do all of this so that when it comes time to the Duckling Derby, you have everything that you need and you can just focus on racing.
That is the most 100% accurate statement I've ever heard. Seriously, take part in those races. Learn how to do this. It may look intimidating, but it is easy as pie. And it takes the burden off because any tournament that you're in, you're going to have a little bit of the butterflies, and the last thing you want is technical issues or having to worry about, I wonder how this works. Obviously, it's not a requirement, but I just found personally that having taken part in a couple of the weekly races beforehand, it just made it eased my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So, Sir Like-a-Lot, I have one pointed question for you, and I don't know what you're going to answer this. If this were the Duckling Derby, would you have taken your black belt to 42, or would you have stopped at 32?
I probably would have stopped at 32. Just racing so many other runners, so many bad things that happened. I'm more concerned about, I guess, especially in a big race, salvaging what I possibly can. So I'm not worried so much in a large race whether or not I take, first or second, but just take a decent spot. In comparison to like a 1v1. A 1v1, I've known, like, I've had so many bad things happen to me, it's very reasonable to expect my opponents had just as many bad things happen. And it's more like a gamble. Like, if they rush because, hey, all these bad things have happened to me, and Topher bounces me at 32, they waste all that time in Topher. Whereas if I spend the extra, 3-4 minutes, however long that took, to get to 42, the chance of me getting bounced out of Topher at this point, something terrible has to happen.
It is a difficult calculated, again, it's calculated risk. Sometimes it feels like the right decision is to, you hit 32, you take the dive, and you might get bounced, and getting bounced might have you lose the run. That being said, if you wait till 42, that delay might have cost you the run because it took too long to get to Topher. There's no, right answer. And I feel like for me as a runner, I'm trying to figure out what's the correct thing I'm supposed to do. And if I calculate that this is the move I'm supposed to make and it's not going well, then I kind of fall apart. But honestly, you get to the point where your gut says, you know what, I'm going to go to 32, and what happens at 32 happens, or I know I need to go to 42 because everything is bad and wants to kill me. I'm just going to go to 42, and I'm going to make up this time by one-punching everything in Topher. I don't think that there are a number of these decisions that are not the correct calculated decision. This is what I'm feeling right now, and I'm just gonna go full in on this unless, RNG.
Yeah, it goes back to comfort. If you're comfortable with the flags and I can take a 32 black belt in as long as I have, this, and this, which would be fast and the power gauntlet, I will more than likely be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I might absolutely take that risk. I might even go in at 31, 30 and just plan on getting that 32, in there if I'm really trying to gotta go fast.
Mm-hmm.
But I would never have done that before I was practicing matches. I would always just go for the top, make sure I didn't wipe it over.
Part of what I'm also thinking when trying to do this as well is the fact that I've seen a lot of scary monsters so far. Mm-hmm. Just common monsters. They're all in Topher. Mm-hmm. Pretty much every single one of the scary monsters is also in Topher, so there's a high likelihood I'm going to lose my mages to something. That's why I think, I don't even have Life 2 charges on the White Mage as of right now. So that's why it's just maybe try to take some, that sentry ran away, so let me kill the guard just to get some extra experience, hopefully get another level on the White Mage, because I believe the next level will give me 1 charge of Life 2.
Mm-hmm. And that's if it's able to survive long enough to use that 1 charge of Life 2.
Yeah. It's going to have my ribbon pretty much the whole way through, so unless something just one-shots it based on damage, it should be fine, but yeah, Topher can do Topher things.
Yeah.
And that, friends and enemies, is called foreshadowing.
I mean, I did say I was going to get the floater in my room, so that worked out for me. So yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah. Yeah. Next time, try to foreshadow good things happening to you. Just a word to the wise.
No, because then I'm pleasantly surprised when good things happen.
Touche. Touche. But I think Ling brings up a good point of, picking up information throughout the run and having an idea of your Topher encounters. I think, I know I'm not going to get most of the enemies that we had going through, but I can identify what monsters are on pretty much each floor of Topher. And so, the mummies or Gurmedusas.
Well, hold on, DVS. Let's ask the crowd. What scary monsters have we seen that we're probably going to hit in Topher, and what do they do? So, for example, I will say that we did see lobsters that have poison touch. And it's about this kind of information. What you'll see with a lot of the top tiers of players is that every piece of information that they get, they kind of store in there. Saracen coming with Gasties, and Gasties, I believe, had Fire 3.
Mm-hmm. And Phil Collins with the Blizzard Scorpions, which, yes, absolutely.
But yeah, we're definitely going to see some of these things. Wizzahags, I'm pretty sure. We're on there. What did the Wizzahags have?
Though, I don't know. I don't think scorpions are in Topher though, because I know we also had damage poison asps, and I don't think asps are in Topher.
Not only that, but there's a whole host of things that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, knowing that there's a bunch of scary things in there is good information. Sometimes you can't really do anything about it.
Yeah.
Other than just hope you don't hit it, but knowing is half the battle.
Yeah. Blizzard Scorpions is the name of my death metal band. Yeah, Blizzard Scorpions is a fantastic just metal name.
And we are going to turn in this herb to +1.
I will note that the katana did roll +4. That's the only thing I've gotten right so far today, is that your katana's rolled +4.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was a cue. DVS, everything you do is always right. You're so great.
False. So false. There's actually... Ironically, there was one broadcast I did with Dengwu during... I think it was during co-op, where I actually did predict essentially every single incentive item in the whole run. That's the only time I've been right. Most of the time. So the reason I got Devious RNG as my name, other than Rafe saying Devious when she saw my DVS, is because I get really bad RNG all the time. That it's kind of one of those things. So,
it's comically bad.
Yeah. And it spans multiple video games, as I've learned recently.
So we dodged those Gasties. That was nice.
Yeah, those Gasties had the Fire 3, so it was a nice quick run. Zombie Ds, I don't think we saw in just kind of the normal run through of ordeals.
We saw them once, but we ran from them right away, I believe.
Yeah, so getting these quick runs, that's another benefit of taking some higher levels, is you are going to increase that run chance on a number of different characters. The one of the things and if you haven't heard Astral Esper before, if you're looking for the actual numbers and data and formulas and calculations that go into the all of like the leveling and the totals, Astral Esper's Final Fantasy guide, which is on GameFAQs, is a phenomenal resource to understand all of that back-end information. And in that document, Astral Esper puts in what types of stats each individual class will get as they level up. And you can find out kind of what the average luck increase is going to be for each class and how likely they are to run. So if you're looking for that kind of information, Astral Esper's GameFAQs guide is where you go. Oh,
As we're...
did
go
we
ahead.
see Lich? I just completely missed Lich.
No, he was hiding. We didn't actually.
Okay, cool.
I just asked him politely to move out of the way because I didn't want to punch him to death, and he agreed.
Sweet. Nice. Way to avoid violence.
Now I love what you did, the fast cast, the fade, and the nuke, because Carrie can hit really hard, surprisingly hard. And if for some reason you don't take her out with the black belt right away, that could turn into a lot of trouble. So just having that backup there, even though you didn't need it, it's just a brilliant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and even if like so, let's say the black belt gets a hit off and doesn't completely kill carry, the nuke fade combination is better than the quad X based on turn order. If turn order got messed up and you're just like wasting a quad X, that's not going to help anybody. But if you get the nuke and the the nuke and the fade out early, even if the fast cast doesn't go out before the punch, you're still going to increase that amount of damage to try to put her down. And this is really the battle that people get worried about. This is the Kraken 2 fight. Link doing some safety precautions and putting that red mage up in the front, hoping that the red mage is going to take at least one hit. Oof, and going directly for the black belt, as Kraken tends to do. Nuke coming out at 308, the fast coming out outside of turn order. Invis 2, just to make sure that there is some evade on his characters. Trying to figure out what to do. Casting the quad X, hit, fade, and nuke. Going with the speed strats, speed and power. The quad X does come out and is able to take down Kraken 2, and that's... You could see the calculations going on in Link's head, trying to figure out if that quad X was the viable solution or if he should go with something else, and the quad X really being the better play. Tia 2, much of the same strats, 7 hits for 650, so that Tia has at least 350 left to go in damage, the fast coming off outside of turn order. Temper. Stun is actually a nice thing to see because it's essentially a wasted attack. Tornado is a little dangerous, but that ribbon's definitely going to help that white mage. And with over 1,300 damage, that alone probably could have wiped Tia 2. And we're on those couple little steps before Chaos's floor, which, as Link is doing very, very appropriately, is a good time to heal up before you take a step. We've had many a run lost 1 or 2 tiles in front of that staircase, and you always want to heal up before trying to walk towards that Chaos staircase.
Which I hilariously call pulling a DVS.
Oh god, there's so many things.
No, don't let hubris get the best of you. Like, you want to go fast, but heal up there. Like,
right.
The worst thing that could happen to you is you have now wasted 7.5 minutes in Temple of Fiends when it would have taken you 10 seconds just to heal up to get through.
Mm-hmm. And I really like Link putting out the lock with that black mage. Had numerous conversations about this. Fast and multiple hits are fantastic, only if you can actually hit the enemy. So by throwing out the lock cast in turn 1, really what you're doing is you're increasing the probability that your black belt's hits are actually going to land. And if he throws out his first hits with his black belt and only gets like 4 out of 10 hits, then he knows to keep throwing those lock casts. If that first punch ends up getting 8 or 9 hits, you know that you've sent out enough hit percent, and you don't really have to worry about lock anymore. But that nuclear is definitely nerve-wracking, but the 2,400 damage coming out of the black belt is quite the answer, and 2,400 HP does it, or damage does it. 1 hour, 38 minutes, 27 seconds. There goes Chaos, and there goes our last showcase for the Duckling boot camp.
Yeah, let's get some GGs out for Sir Langalot. That was a tough seed.
Yeah, I mean, Topher wasn't bad, but I had, outside of Kraken, and that would have been the thing, too. If I would have only taken the black belt to 32, black belt's dead to Kraken. Didn't even get a chance, so I would have had to try to pull that out with my mages at that point, which, Kraken swinging like that, I'm probably losing, hopefully not the white mage, but that very well could have been a reset right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're 100% right. It did 700 something damage to that 42 black belt, so at 32, there's no way it would have survived that.
I'll say this, Kraken was taunting me because long ago when Link was a young Link, and Twitch TV was actually Justin TV, I had created my account as Sir Link a lot. unbeknownst to me, when Twitch started, I wanted to stream on Twitch and not just in TV, having no idea they were actually the same thing. So I thought I had to make a brand new account. So I added 3 7s to my name. And yeah, so Kraken was taunting me with what my old name used to be.
Well, Link, do you have any final thoughts about your little run here? Anything that you liked that you would have done differently?
I mean, not so much, because, I mean, outside of just things you didn't know were going to happen, you know, just like small monsters just having extremely scary spells or skills, it's just kind of like adapting to it, and, you know, especially C, that was kind of where I lost a lot of time. I mean, maybe going into C with some more levels, but I don't really feel like that would have helped, just because my runner was also my black mage, which had low health and was basically dying to every single sweeper that happened to my party, so I don't feel too terrible about it. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
DBS, any thoughts from your wise math god brain?
My wise math god brain reminds everybody that the R in RNG stands for random. Random things are going to happen. The name of the game is not follow this algorithm the same way every single time and do it as fast as possible. There are going to be times where you run into blizzard scorpions and damage poison lobsters and fire 3 ghasties, and it's okay. There are adjustments that can be made, and ask questions, learn, and try to focus on the joy of the game. It's an incredibly fantastic game with a great community, and don't let the competition ruin that for you.
Well, I have a lot of thanks to send out. This has been week 8 of the Duckling boot camp, the last week before summer 2021 Duckling Derby. I want to send a special thanks out to Jat, to Gregly Puff, to Dark Moon for hanging out with me, for making these flags, and I hope that everyone had a nice experience learning a little bit about Final Fantasy Randomizer. For all you new players out there, learning the game. For all of you slightly older players, maybe you learned a trick or two. I also want to send some shout outs to the rest of the helpers that we've had. I'm going to miss some names here, but I know that we had, Sir Lancelot and DBS, thank you for being here with me today. We had Ale Markin, Caleb, Will Bloodworth, Luffy, Lord Fizzlebeef, Dangwu. You see any of these people, you give them a high five for me, because we couldn't have done it without everybody's help in the community. And thank all of you for watching. This has been a great experience for me personally. I hope everybody's learned something, had a little bit of fun, and I hope you're all super psyched for the Duckling Derby that's going to be coming up. It's so close, I can't even wait.